All right, guys, how y'all doing? This is Jason Pearson, 806hsse.com. Man, basketball's right around the corner, so I had to get Coach Davis in from Monterey in, my first guest. Starting up the podcast for basketball season will be coming every week or 2 or 3 times a week, depending on how much I can get guests, because I know we finna be turned up and busy, all of us. So, Coach Davis, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Getting ready to start playing here and scrimmaging in a week and a half, 10 days or so, and we're going at it, so.
Man, it's been a busy summer, like covering basketball. You know, I know I'm busy all summer, but I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know, even UIL-wise, not, summer ball, but y'all busy all year too. You know, y'all have the summer league out here at Friendship, a lot of tournaments, a lot of I call them team bonded things that, some of them are sanctioned or whatever. But talk to me about how much being a coach is and how much you have to do. And I mean, it's an all-year job, especially basketball. Basketball goes longer than any other sport, I feel like.
Yeah, it's always had a good, there was a lot that happened in the summer, but the coaches weren't really involved, especially when we were in high school. There was a lot of UIL stuff that you could only coach them in the season and then within the school day. But that's changed now because there was a lot of, like a lot of other things. They got real shady in the summer about who's coming to help and stuff like that. And so they really wanted the high school coaches to be a part of that and not be trying to kind of outsource that. And so we get some time in the summer now. Every day they can come live. They can come practice basketball with us. We can run a 45-minute to hour workout depending on the day, and that's not bad. That's all sports. They can do football. We structure it where they can. If they're a multi-sport athlete, they can do more than one thing. And then, like you said, summer league, and one of the other big ones that they've come up with has been the Duncanville, the shootout that they do, where it's like an AAU tournament as far as we're all going to go to one place, but. We get to be on the sideline, all that kind of stuff, and have a kind of mini tournament in the middle of the summer and go be a part of that one too.
That's one of the biggest tournaments, man, maybe in the nation. I love it. It's a whole bunch of good players in just a couple of courts, man. Hopefully Lubbock, or somewhere closer to us can get, maybe a 16 court gym. Like Apex is nice, but you got to be honest, it's nothing like that Duncanville or,
those field houses. There's a big one in Plano and Frisco, and they do a lot between basketball and volleyball where they have the nets that raise, they'll go straight up, and so they host tournaments for everything. And Abilene built a nice one. It's not quite 16, it's 6 or 8 courts maybe, but it's really nice. That's just one more chance for all of our guys to play. But like you said, that's more time. We go watch them. Yeah. So it's one more thing for us.
Let's talk about summer league. I watched you guys. Y'all look pretty good. That one injury where the guy, man, that scared me, man. Describe what happened to me, man, because I thought his arm broke or elbow broke or something, had me scared, but I heard he's okay, and that's the only reason I'm asking about it. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He jumped to block a shot, and he kind of got caught in the net a little bit, and so it kicked his feet out from under him, and he fell, so he's falling just straight down. It looks like he's going to land on his back and just naturally kind of puts his hands out to stop himself. Well, he lands on his arm as he's putting it out, and it dislocated his elbow pretty good, but just one more, God thing. He didn't break anything or tear anything, so they didn't have to do any surgery. They put him under a little bit to put it back in because the pain was going to be pretty rough. But other than that, he brought his summer league jersey back the next morning. Said, "Coach, I thought you'd need this." I said, "I can probably wait. I don't need this today." But he was right back at it and ready to go again, and he's all better and ready to go for the season now.
Let's talk about last year. You guys had a great year, 25-10. You went 11-1 in district, in a tough district. Abilene teams in there in Monterey. Let's talk about you going to the third round, losing Amarillo. It seems like, just to me, Amarillo's kind of y'all's kryptonite in the playoffs, man. What is it going to take, take that next step this year? Because you guys had a great team, and talk to me about who's coming back and what should we expect?
Yeah, the Amarillo still stings a little bit. We played them twice last year. We were up 1 with about 4 minutes left, and we played them up there, and just went into like a 3-minute stretch. It was just it was some of our worst play of the year. We picked a really bad time to do that one, so ended up costing us there. But it built a lot of confidence that here we are on the road and in this spot. And so, and then we yet again picked a really bad time to have maybe the worst half of shooting we had all year, and open shots too, and just not one thing would go in, and just wasn't the night. So, but man, it was a great season, and not just so much the record. They were great guys. We had great parents and program wide, and so it made it really easy. All we did last year was coach basketball. I didn't have to worry about attitudes or grades or anything like that. We just did basketball, check on their grades here and there. Everybody's looking good, a lot of A's and B's, stuff like that, and let's go play. So we've done a lot to kind of say that needs to be the standard. That's what we got to be every time. And that success wasn't an accident. It was because of all these other things that went in. So that hopefully we can repeat it this year with a new group, with some coming back. But it's going to be really similar to last year as far as new guys and new roles and new chemistry and finding how we fit. And so that's a lot of why we're playing the non-district that we are, to try to iron out a lot of those kinks going into district, and hopefully we can repeat what we did last year a little bit.
Let's talk about non-district, man. You have, like we said, Randall, Friendship. You got a lot of tough teams. You going to take a tournament in San Antonio, team that was in the 6A, went to the semifinals. Talk to me about why it's important to schedule tough. Because honestly, around here, especially 5A, 6A, a lot of your tough teams are that way, you know, so it's important to try to get them early before you get in a district play, because you may, be disguised and may, think you're better than you are. You never know because you haven't played them guys. You may be undefeated, go out there and catch one,
And you never know. It may be a bad time if you haven't challenged yourself.
Yes, sir.
We're of the mind that we'll play anybody. As far as 5 and 6A, we all play each other out here because there's not a lot of other people to play. It's not like the Metroplex where we can, just pick up the phone and here's 10 more people. So, we're all kind of in agreement. We all play each other every year, at least the bigger schools, 5, 6A, and then Estacado is always in that mix too, and Randall, Canyon now being 4A. So there's plenty of great competition around to test yourself and see where you are before we get to district, without really having to go too far. Canyon, Amarillo, Midland, Abilene for district, and then the tournaments where we get to really decide where we're going is one more chance to, like we said, we're going to San Antonio to really play somebody else. And the best thing about that for us is that the tournament, you see a lot of different styles of play, and you see it real fast. So you got to make adjustments. So you may play a morning game against, it's usually El Paso schools that play really fast or really slow. So you may have that in the morning, in the afternoon you got the opposite, and you got to play and win a different way. And so those are great chances for us to learn and grow and get better in a short amount of time, a lot of different ways. And then the playoffs, that's where it comes in, because you can say, hey, you remember this game in the tournament or whatever, we played a team that played like this and here's how we were successful, and you have that experience to lean back on.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about the game that I know you coach, you with me all the time. The game where I said, Monterey is going to be good this year is a game I drove up to Randall and watched you guys play Randall. Randall went to state last year.
I did.
So, and you guys hung in there with players like KJ Thomas and the rest. You beat them guys. And one of the best games I saw all last year. You won that game. Talk to me, was that when you knew, like, hey, we got some, or you probably already knew you the coach, but as far as outside in, I said, Monterey finna be something.
Well, there's always that fine line of as a coach, you're trying to sell them that this is how good we are, and sometimes you're worried, am I right? And and they testament to just who they were last year. They believed, and then when they got the chance to show it, they made us look right and look good. And so that was really the game that it built a lot of confidence for us that we are kind of who we think we've said we've been, and what we have on the table and where we can be and what our goals are. And so that was a really kind of a big four. We played Estacado right before that, and won. Would have loved to play them again later because we played them the night after they finished in football. Yes. So they were still some rust there and stuff, and then went right there and played Randall, and then Friendship the next Tuesday. And so we had a good little stretch where we had a lot of challenges. Yeah, we were up halftime that one, and really kind of showed we're belonging, and we want to make this a routine thing of what we are.
A good team. Okay, let's talk about, as you know, you start practice. The girls start practice tomorrow, actually, and then you guys start next week. What are you going to be looking for, and what are these practices? Which I don't know if y'all have been just doing involuntary practice. It's just the first practice off the bat from the summer league. I don't know that. I know what I can call it. Hey, when I come to practice now, I can't come till y'all start practice. So, when is this really like the first official practice?
It's the first time we can do basketball outside of the school day.
Okay.
During the school day, in our athletic period, you can do whatever you want. So and they give us time now. We can do strength conditioning outside the school day.
Okay.
So 4 days a week we do basketball during the period. 1 day we lift, and then we lift 2 days after school to get everything we need in. And so this will be the first chance that you can start at 4:15 or so and go till 5:45, 6, stuff like that, and get into that. So we've been doing basketball, but as far as the real, it changes from, in the period you got maybe 45 minutes. And so you're really focusing on one thing. We're going to work offense, defense, this specific thing. and then you put it all together in practice, and you have just many segments of doing what we used to do in the period and switch offense, defense, or focus and stuff like that, where you're putting it all together for games where you really got to have it all put together.
How did it come about you getting the Monterey job? Besides your great credentials, talk to me. How did you land it? Because that, let's be honest, that's a hard gig to get. A lot of people want to coach Monterey basketball.
A little help for me was I'm a graduate of Monterey,
yes.
And a player, so that helped me kind of get my foot in the door. But my first 2 years I was coaching at Monterey, I didn't do basketball.
Okay.
It was a little bit the opposite of what it is now. There were no teaching jobs, and Mr. Perkypaw called and said, "Hey, I've got a job, and it's math, which is what I teach, and it's coaching, but it's not basketball." And he knew that was kind of my thing. I said, "I don't care. I need something. Yeah. I got to put some food on the table." Exactly. So I did football, baseball for 2 years, and then a basketball spot opened up on that side. So I moved over there and just been staying there ever since, and working away for my chance. And so worked with some great guys. Worked with Coach Rowland to start with, and then Coach McFerrin, and learned a lot from both of them that I've tried to carry forward into my own time now.
Yeah, Coach McFerrin, if there was one thing you could take from him, I talked to him this summer about you at the showcase. He was there too. What's a couple of things that you took from him? You always try to put different recipes together, and hopefully it's good when it's done. So what did you get from him?
A lot of his focus was defense, and that's not really the way. My dad always jokes that if he had to rank his 3 kids, the way they played defense, it was my sister, my brother, and then 12 people later, it was me. My high school defense was if you had 20, I got to score 21. So I got to keep us in the plus here. And so I learned a lot from him, scheme and the way to coach it and stuff like that I didn't necessarily, you know a little bit from being a player, but that's, really one of the challenges of coaching is it's not what you know, it's what you get them to know and repeat and do. And so being able to, change the way you're talking about things or how to scheme and take what you do well and get it into the game. I learned a lot of that from him and how to carry yourself that way. And he had a very business-like approach. He had a good background with that, handling a lot of off-court stuff like that and fundraising and other things like that. He and Coach Rowland both were great to, I did everything. They let me in on everything. Except for the occasional head coach meeting that was just them, decision making or, how we are going to do this, that really helped me gain a lot of experience. And so that's something I'm trying to do for all my guys now, to kind of give them the same leg up one of these days when they want to be head coaches.
Yes, sir. Let's talk about this. It's crazy. We in Lubbock, Texas. I'm in the markets. I'm a journalist. We're the 187th market in the nation, right? But we have the biggest tournament in the nation, the Cap Rock tournament. How does it feel to be a part of that? Because I know it's Cisco, you're coaching it. This is what your second, third year coaching. How does it feel to be a part of that? You got teams like DeSoto, Carter coming back, and then I know for sure I talked to Crowley. I don't know if they get to come this year, but they're on the waiting list. It's so many teams, big teams that want to come play in that tournament right here with you guys. This is y'all's turn, the LSU tournament. Talk about that.
Well, I think for them, number one, it's got to be a good product. There's been times, other tournaments and things, we've gone to tournaments and either the field wasn't very good or the gyms, they fished something and you kind of go, I'm not coming back. And so for schools like that to be able to come back, that's we're being provided a good product and they're getting games they feel like are competitive and things like that. Crowley said, I think, Dallas White's coming, WT White's coming this year, I saw too. I think for them, they're kind of doing it the opposite of how I'm doing San Antonio. I'm going somewhere else to play new people to see how we are. And for them, it's the same chance to come play different people, new environment, travel, go somewhere else. Because a lot of those other schools, they really only get one trip out of the Metroplex. So you got to be real careful about when you use that. We get trips where we go to Amarillo or stuff like that. But, talking to even McFerrin, he wants to come back. We do that big tip-off scrimmage. He wants to come to that. He said, but I only get one trip out of Plano. I'm not sure I want to use it for a scrimmage. I'd like to use it for a tournament. So, he gets, and otherwise they got to pay for it and a lot of other things. So, for them to use that one thing that they get to come out to see us and play with us, it means we're bringing something that they need, and it's just one more feather in our cap.
Yes, sir. Kicks, man. Me and you both. I'll be at the game. You'll come by, show me the kicks, or I'll show you my kicks. I did not know that there is a super duper following for people in shoes. like, I guess, me covering basketball more and more now, I'm starting to understand, like, I can't go cover a game if I don't have a pair of fresh kicks on. I'll stay home. Talk to me about what's going on in the budget, because the ones we get, they not cheap, man. Like, I have to convince my wife, man, can I get these shoes?
Same thing. Birthday, Christmas, I get one, and if I do it without telling her, I'm gonna be in trouble. So I better clear it first. It's not one of those, but and I think a lot of that started because it used to not really be a thing. And then growing up, everybody's going to tell you the same story about, I saw Michael Jordan wear these ones and those ones and the black, and it just started a little something where now everybody's got something, and there's multiple brands that are putting out stuff and new things. So, but yeah, man, every time something drops, there's 5 or 6 kids in my class wearing them, like every time. So it's expanded, I think, the game a little bit, because it's a lot of kids that know basketball and basketball shoes now that don't necessarily play. Whether even just on the weekends, they may just play 2K, and that's the only basketball they know. But it's just one more thing, especially if they see somebody on the court wearing it. It's just one more relationship that can be built that brings them to games. One more fan in the stands for us, and any way we can do that, we'll take it. All
right. Last question. Now, for the novice fan, if I'm a novice fan, if I'm just a neutral fan. Like, for instance, I'm coming to watch the girls' game, and I'm going to stay and watch the boys' game and give you a chance to, because that's the one thing about 806, fans say, you know what, I can't watch the girls or I can't watch the boys, so I'm going to watch the girls. What is going to keep them coming back as far as on your end? When you see them wait, say, hey, we got fans, and what are you going to do to keep them? What do they know y'all doing it on the back end that we don't see?
We try to do a lot to get student involvement, dress up nights, providing things where we can, food. We've got some things this year lined up with sponsorships, a little more like some college games, maybe throwing out, 3-point towel, shirt, stuff like that.
Wow.
That have been sponsored by some things where, yes, you're going to come support us, but you get a little something out of it too. And so it's really a win-win to come spend an hour and a half with us, watch us play fast a little bit, go up and down, maybe get your t-shirt out of it, and then come home, and it be the kind of experience where I want to come do it again, even if I don't maybe get the shirt or something, that it was enjoyable, and I want to come back and support my team again.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man, for the podcast, our first one. So hopefully, I know we'll see each other a lot, and hopefully we'll be going deeper than 3 rounds this year. I think you guys have a great team, great coaching. Like you said, you've already instilled a standard. So I got to expect it. You went 25-10 last year, 11-1 in district. Let's go get better. And sometimes you have to lose to win. And like you said, if you take a tournament that's tough and you may lose 3 out of 4 all the games, if it helped you in the end when it counts on the state run, it was worth it.
Yeah, and that's really what ours kind of were last year, that we went 2-2 at the Gene Messer, and then we played well in Midland, went 4-0, and then did the same thing at the Caprock, and learned a lot in those times that we carried, in the Caprock being in the middle of our district a little bit schedule, that we had stuff that immediately we say, we got to fix this or get better at this or keep doing that, when they count double here in a little bit on both sides of the record. So great times for us, and ready to get at it again and keep seeing you putting out content, getting us all over the country.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming in, man. Have a blessed night, and we'll see you. I'm going to be at y'all for practice. We back at it.
Come on.
All right. Appreciate you, sir.